a few seconds early. So just a guest, nice to see you. I'm gonna give people a few minutes to get in here, and and then I'm gonna go into today's topic because I was having a conversation with a subscriber last night, and or yesterday actually, and then we had another conversation last night, and I'm gonna kind of talk to you about that a little bit as well. But he was saying, everybody wants to know a rags to riches story, and I'm like, well, in my head, I'm thinking, well, duh, that's kind of why I call it the Epoch of Friar Tuck. I'm calling it the Epoch of Friar Tuck because this is my story. I mean, you get to see me start from if you've been following me from the beginning, you saw me start housed up, but I was also in the process of getting ready to just kind of push my way out the door, and start on my journey until I got to a point where the channel was doing well. And Marco, why do you ask those weird questions? That's just weird. Okay. But anyways, uh, uh, and so I'm just like, this has been my story. That's why I changed it, because I originally started off as hobo prepper, and I'm like, well, I am a hobo, but and I thought that being a hobo, I could share some things and teach some preppers some things, but the more I got into it, the more I realized how I was probably in the wrong niche, and it would be best for me not only to talk about my experience, but to teach people about my experience, how to be able to how to be able to be survive while being homeless and not lose the content of your character and who you are, because homelessness is kind of it's a stage. It's an opportunity to reinvent yourself and become a new person. And so, that's kind of what inspired this, is like, okay, well, that's why I changed it to the epoch, or the journey. Kind of think of it like Homer's Iliad. It was a life-changing journey that he went on, and at the end of it, he was able to be a better person with more life experience, more wisdom, so on and so forth. And so, that's kind of what inspired the title of this, and I hope that the content that I talk about tonight lives up to that expectation. So, wow, looks like, okay, so we've got some people in here already. So just a guest, hi. Marco, hi. Bushcraft, hi. Glenda, hi. Let's see, who else do I need to say hi to? Okay, it looks like I've said hi to everyone. Okay, so hold on. So that when they say that chili is the musical fruit, I've been eating chili dogs for the last couple of days because it's cheap, it's easy, and I can just eat it raw out of a can. But the thing is now I'm paying the price for it, and so I haven't been feeling well for the last day or so. And so if any of you guys want to help me out in my tip jar, I could use like $10-15 just to kind of offset what I haven't been able to go do and fly a sign, because the musical fruit is really tearing my stomach up. Like I'm not going to get into too much detail. You guys don't want to know this crap. So no pun intended. Okay, I hope some of you have a sense of humor. So, homelessness, a rags to riches story. Like, what is it that I intend to talk about? And in Hollywood, when they do the whole rags to riches story, I mean, that's a pretty good story that Hollywood puts out. Pretty common, at least 1 or 2 movies a year is some sort of rags to riches. But the thing is, they have an hour and a half to do a long journey, and so they got to slice it up and make it quick, and so on and so forth. And it seems like so many people are like, okay, yeah, we want to see you at the end of your journey, because that's what Hollywood shows us, and then you can kind of fill us in on all the crap that happened behind, to put you there as the audience gets to know you. But with social media, with YouTube, and with the way that things go nowadays, is you get to follow somebody from the beginning of their journey to the end of their journey, and it becomes more like the Truman Show than anything else. And so with me and with the channel and with what I'm doing, I kind of as one who there's I watch a couple of channels that talk about how to become a better content creator, and one of the advice that they always tell you is become the hero of your story, and things like that, because people want to see the hero, and so on and so forth. And it's like, okay, I'll do my best, I'll give it the good old college try. But again, like I was saying in the beginning, is that those of you that are following this channel, that are following me, you are getting to see a long drawn out, rags to riches story, because you guys are participating in my journey. So every time I get a new subscriber, every time I get views, every time I get a tip on my tip jar, every time I get a new Patreon subscriber. And by the way, I've now hit 10 paid members, and so that is something that is definitely I got to give myself a pat on the back, and you guys should give yourself a pat on the back for being a part of all of this as well. Hey Joe, I've been watching your videos, absolutely love them. You are a really good storyteller, by the way, and I like your, what is it you call it, the filter tube of doom. That is one of my favorite things that you say. So, but like, kind of how has my journey started? Where am I at now, and what is it that my future is looking like? Because I don't necessarily have a great gift of foresight, but I've had the ability, just because of maybe a second gift or another talent, to be able to kind of see where I'm going, and what I expect to happen, and kind of how things are moving. And um, uh, it's okay. So, in 2021 in August, I lost my business, and I tried to restart another business that wasn't going so well, just because of everything that was going on economically, so on and so forth. To the point where I decided, what, it's time to start a YouTube channel. And I decided that at first I was just going to do a gaming channel, and I also wanted to do a channel dedicated to Billy Meyer. That never took off. It's not like all of a sudden, like, the first channel I tried actually worked. It took me several tries to really get the hang of it, to figure out what it is that I'm good at talking about, what it is that I have, what value I have to be able to bring to you, the individual, so that not only do you get some sort of return on investment, because when you watch these videos, every time an ad pops up, I'm getting paid. So that is, and the fact that you spend time on these videos and on these live streams, you are, in a way, making an investment in this channel, making an investment in me. And one of the common things that I have been hearing the whole time along my journey is that you're too smart, you're this, you're that, why are you out there? Why you shouldn't be out there? Because most people expect the homeless to be drug addicts. They expect them to have mental health issues. They expect them to have a lot of the major ailments that we see in urban society today. But the truth is that that's a small percentage of the overall homeless. A lot of the homeless are homeless because they lost their job. They had a death in the family, and it just kind of took them down. Like, if you listen to Tomcat, I mean, he's right there on the verge of kind of running down that road, and he's fighting it. And I mean, you got to give that man a pat on the back, because of how hard he's trying and how well he's keeping it together, considering he just lost the love of his life. I mean, that's something hard for any man to go through, because I know when I lost my mom, regardless of the issues that we had, I still miss my mom. I haven't this August will be 11 years. And yeah, Joe, those are definitely good. I mean, whatever works for you. Your channel is really good at just keeping it real and just following your story. Because the thing is right now in society, we are so stuck in the digital medium. I mean, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and all this stuff. And most of this stuff is glamour. A lot of this stuff is staged. So for example, like those people that like to go into the stores and stay in the stores and pretend like they broke into the store and they stayed there. Well, actually the person knows the manager, and so the manager gave them permission and they made a video about it. And then you got people thinking that that's actually a real thing, and so on and so forth. And hey, Ironwood, and they then they end up going to jail and getting in trouble, and so you don't know what's real and what's fake. And so I think that people today are, because of how disconnected we are, because nobody's willing to pick up a phone and have a conversation. They're more willing to have a text. They're more willing to have a something that is in a lot of ways superficial. And so being able to have that real authentic community, that authentic interaction, I think is something that people crave. And so people like Tomcat and me and Joe and some of the other content creators out here like Hobo Thomas, we all have, that's the one thing that we're bringing to the table that nobody else is bringing. But again, going back to the whole rags to riches is, in the Hollywood theme, it always, a lot of it works out the same. What's that one with Will Smith where he did it with his kid? It was just the two of us. Like, he loses everything, and it's just him and his kid, and he goes out there and he has a dream, and it's something that nobody expects him to do, because they really never expect him to amount to anything in life, in one form or fashion. But then he goes out there and he works and he outworks everybody, and he pushes and pushes and pushes until finally he becomes one of the top stockbrokers in the Bay Area, and so therefore that was his rags to riches story. And not everybody gets that. You actually have to decide what your own rags to riches story is. And just because you're homeless does not mean that you cannot have the same experience, and it does not mean that you become like a millionaire or a billionaire. We as a society put so much emphasis and effort on the need for high amounts of money that we actually forget that is nothing more than a representation of the commercial energy in which you generate, the efficiency at which you do the work, or the whatever it is that you do. Okay, and it's not about how much money you make. It's about being able to have the successes that you have. And so, over the last year, I have struggled very, very hard to kind of find my way, figure out what it is that I'm doing, what it is that I want to do, where it is I want to go. I knew that, okay, YouTube was going to be it, and I was going to build from there, and that was kind of like, that was the only plan that I had. And so if you become homeless at some point in time, whether it be through the Great Dispossession, whether it be whether it be the Great Dispossession, or whether it be anything that goes on in your life, the loss of whatever, okay, you are going to, you have the ability to have your own rags to riches story. Now, it's not going to be something that Hollywood's going to make a story about, because very few people, just like very few people in YouTube, get monetized within their first month or two. Very few people will ever become millionaires and billionaires by that. And, you have to, some people call it luck, and I think more like it's the law of averages and persistency. And the more persistent you are, the more the law of averages will play into your favor, the more likely you are to reach your goals. But what are your goals? This is why I tell you, before you come out to be being homeless, if you know that it's coming, or even if it's like 2 days down the road, you're like, I got till next week to be out, otherwise, this and this is going to happen. You need to, this is your opportunity to formulate your plan. How are you going to reinvent yourself? And, even if you're making, 10,000 or not 10,000, that's a long time ago. Even if you're making $50,000 or $100,000 a year, that is still a rags to riches, because what rags to riches really means is that you faced adversity, you were persistent, you were dedicated, you were driven, and then you overcame those obstacles to be able to have some form of success. And it's up to you to decide what your success is. Not everybody could be a doctor and a lawyer. Not everybody's got to be Bill Gates and Elon Musk and those type of people. But can you be in their spectrum? Can you kind of move along those lines? And I think that any person who becomes homeless has the ability to move from being from rags to riches, per se, as the cliche says. Okay, and so over the last probably 6 to 9 months, I have had, people that believe in me, people that are investing in me, people that see my potential, and quite frankly, if you watch the Will Smith movie, or any of these other movies that you watch that are like this, that portray this story, all of these people needed somebody to believe in them, to root for them, to see their potential. And that is really where, in my opinion, that is really where true success comes from. It's not the actual success, but to have other people that believe in you the same way that you believe in yourself. Okay, and and so, because I've had people like Tomcat, like when he shared my video, all of a sudden this channel exploded. He has a great following, and a great amount of people that have come over here, that follow me now because of his recommendation. And that was one big windfall that I had, on top of, there was a couple of videos that I released that, before then, that really got a lot of traction, helped me pick up the subscribers, helped me pick up my momentum, so that people like Tomcat and you guys could follow me. Well, as time goes along, and things like that are developing, I'm getting to a point where, when I first started out, when I first started out, getting monetized, it took me 3 months to get my first payout. And then once I got my second channel monetized, because it was more like royalties, my gaming channel, because I was able to collect on both of them, I went to getting paid out every other month. And that channel at one point was paying out more than this channel. Well, now this channel is paying out more than that channel, to the point to where, I'm ready to let it go. I don't need to be so dependent on the income of that, unless I just want it for shits and giggles, and stuff like that. Okay, and so, as time goes along, this is what Hollywood fails to realize, of what it's really like. And I think if we actually look at the Hollywood model, it gives us an unrealistic expectation of what to expect from ourselves, because we see it in instant gratification. Because in 90 minutes, you watch a guy go from nothing to something, and now he's revered by the whole world, and he is world class and all that. But again, not everybody's going to be world class. The fact that you can go from a point of losing everything that you have, to a point where you are moving in the right direction, to a point where you now have the ability to repair the damage, recoup what you lost, put yourself back on the right path, to where you're back on track to be able to meet the life goals in which you have. I think that is really what the moral and the message of these stories are, is to kind of give you motivation to be able to move forward. And there's a lot of people, whether it be subscribers or people that I meet in my travels, that are on the verge of facing homelessness, or are homeless themselves, or have been homeless, and looking at it, it's going to be a repeat of the same thing. I what I really would like to do is to be able to offer you the hope that you can get out there, and you can rebuild your life, and you can turn over a new leaf. So let's talk about a real piece of history. If any of you have heard of the Baron of San Francisco, hit 1 in chat. That way I know who has, who hasn't. But the Baron of San Francisco, I think it was in the late 1800s. He was in the rice trade from South America. He did futures trading, and so the market was doing really well. He was very wealthy, and then one day the bottom fell out one year for the rice market, and he lost everything. Well, you know what? He snapped. Okay, and he had to sell everything. He lost everything, and he kind of, in a lot of ways, he went crazy. Okay. And hey, Jeremy, and he became known later on as the Baron of San Francisco, because he loved San Francisco so much during that time that he would go out and he would actually handwrite tickets, and he would give people tickets because they were doing things that was un-San Franciscan, or that was hurting the reputation of San Francisco, because he loved the city so much that everybody, even though they knew he was off his rocker and he was somebody that lost everything, he actually became very famous and very popular not only on the West Coast, but especially in San Francisco, to the point where he even claimed to be the Baron of San Francisco, which is why they call him the Baron of San Francisco. And in a way, he was doing. He was kind of like saying, I am the president of San Francisco. And nobody really recognized it, but because, of the reputation he had and the interaction he had in society, you could very easily say that, yeah, even when he fell and snapped and lost his marbles, that he still got his riches back, because he got his fame, his notoriety. He was recognized and revered within his own community, because of just the way in which he loved his community. Okay, so it doesn't mean that you got to go out and make a lot of money. It doesn't mean that you got to be the CEO of a company. It doesn't mean that you got to do a lot of that stuff. It means that what you're doing is, when you fall on your face, do you have enough mental fortitude to turn over that other leaf and to forge ahead, regardless of how you feel? Because not only losing a business, but going through almost unaliving myself about 10 years prior to that, and having two houses that I fixed and cleaned up a neighborhood. After losing my business, it was like no matter what I tried, no matter how hard I worked, it was almost like I was being defeated. But even though I still feel like that on a daily basis, to be brutally honest, there are times when it just gets to the point where I look at what I had and look at what I have now, and it becomes so depressing that I want to go I want to see if I can become a flying squirrel. Okay, now am I going to do it? No. So all those comments of, no. What I'm telling you is, you can feel things. It's okay to feel things. It's okay to be depressed. It's okay to be defeated. It's okay to do all of that stuff, even though I feel all of those things on a daily basis, and I have my own sadness. I still get up in the mornings. I put on a smiley face. I put myself in a good mood. I put my best foot forward, and I get up every day, and I start doing research on my content. I start responding to comments. I start looking at what the next video is that I can make. Start looking at what the impact is that I can make. And because I keep doing that, I am forging my own path ahead, so that one day I will have 5,000 subscribers, and then 10,000 subscribers. And, although the number of subscribers really doesn't mean much in the YouTube world, what it does mean is that certain opportunities and certain windows are open for you, one, but two, it also is a reflection of how well your message and the goals in which you're trying to accomplish are being received. And so at the end of the day, you still have the ability, no matter what happens, to be able to step up on your own 2 feet, regardless of how you feel. And, as they tell you in sales, they say, fake it until you make it. And I sometimes I feel like I'm faking it until I make it, but I am, but I'm not, because I'm not going to allow my negative emotions to be able to dictate what it is that I do. I'm not going to allow it to hinder my end result. I'm not going to let it affect what I'm going through. And a lot of this goes comes from when I went through the process of almost unaliving myself. Because, one of the things that I learned coming out of that whole thing was that there was this little voice in the back of my head that kept saying, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I don't like you, you're worthless, you're useless, because that's all I ever heard growing up. And, at a certain point, you got to sit there and be consciously aware of that little negative ninny that's in the back of your head and go, hey, wait a minute. Why do I feel this way about myself? Well, I don't really feel that way about myself. It's just my thoughts are a reflection of the way that I feel that society feels about me. So what really was a big turn for me in my life was that every time that thought would come through, I'd be like, no, I do not feel that way. I love myself. I care about myself. This is why. This is what, I am an honest person. I honor my commitments. I don't steal. I care about my fellow human being. There's a long list of things that I like about myself, but just thinking, straightforward, this is kind of off the top of my head. I love myself because I love who I am, and because of that, I was able to stop those negative thoughts to a point to where I came to love, appreciate, and respect myself, to where now, even though I feel those feelings, I understand that those are emotions, and it may be part of the scars of things that have happened to me many years ago. But again, it's about overcoming what it is that you go through on a daily basis, and realize that regardless of what the rest of the world may say you're a bum, you're a loser, go get a job, I'm tired of paying taxes so that you get benefits, da 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 da. And I get to hear this every day in the comments. If you guys read the comments from a lot of the videos that I put out, is they're when the hecklers come, that's when I know I'm doing good. But the thing is I remind myself of, I'm not that person, and these people dislike themselves so much that they want to drag me down with them, because misery loves company. And so if you're ever going to be homeless and you want to be able to turn your life around and turn a new leaf over, one of the main things that you're going to have to do is ignore those people, learn to love and appreciate yourself, and know your value and know your worth, and then realize, who do you want to be? Who you have an opportunity to be somebody that you are proud of, that when you look back and you go, you know what, I am so glad, I am so proud of who I am. I respect myself, and if I were somebody else looking at me, I would have the utmost respect for myself, because not only have I gone through all of these things, or has that person gone through all of those things, but they have persevered, and they are still moving forward, and not with the scars and the negative attitude and the disgruntlement and being the get off my lawn asshole. No, they become the happy, the positive people. And so again, going from the proverbial rags to riches, again, it's not about money. It's about changing a negative situation into a positive situation, and having the will, the drive, and the perseverance to be able to move forward, in a lot of these different things. Okay. Feeling sorry for yourself is un-American. Okay. In America, we are supposed to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. How many times, what is it that Benjamin Franklin said? I learned 999 ways not to build a light bulb, and one way to build it right. Well, you know what? That's the same thing in our lives, and that's something that we can move forward with. And so it's important that we as individuals really take that moment and realize that we have the ability to blaze our own trail, to be our own to be our own hero of our own story. And, I may be doing it here on YouTube because I want to motivate you and show you that, hey, just because you're in this situation does not make you a less of a human being than anyone else. It does not mean that you're stupid. It does not mean that you're going to become a drug addict. It does not mean that you've got mental health issues. Or if you do have mental health issues, it does not mean that you cannot overcome them. Okay? Because where there is a will, there is a way. And, one of the great things is that I got a great opportunity in front of me, and I am so excited, and I'm so looking forward to it. I actually called a couple of people and said, look, I want to tell you before I tell everybody else on YouTube. But I finally have this one moment where things are coming together so much because you, as my audience, you believe in me. You guys are my biggest backers. You guys are the ones that, at the end of the day, uh, you give me the fuel that I need to be able to keep going, because you are a reflection of what it is that I'm trying to accomplish. And so I've had many subscribers say, "Hey, Tuck, why don't you come stay with me?" I've exchanged emails with people that I'm like, "Okay, maybe you, maybe not." And I've had people say, "Oh yeah, you come over to my place, I'll give you a shower," and they never called, they never sent me an email or anything else like that. Or, "Hey, come on down here, we got work for you." I've had, and they never actually really respond, and things like that. But I've had many people. I would probably say in the last year alone, I've had at least 10 people offer me, "Hey, why don't you come stay with me?" And I'm always a little weary of it, because one of the things that I've learned when you're in this situation of being homeless is that a lot of people like to virtue signal on one end, or what they like to do is they like to use it as a way to, like, okay, come help me. Okay, I'll give you a great example. So after I got out of the suicide ward in Portland, which was a state of the art new suicide ward, that honestly, I think they need to take that and use that as a model to use across the whole country, because it does wonders for people. Okay, but afterwards, my dad and my grandma put me in a corner and backed me into a corner and said, "No, you're coming to stay with me." And then they used certain things against me to kind of compel me to go do that. Well, the first thing I told my old man is, I said, "Look, man, I just went through probably one of the worst moments in my life. I need 6 months to be able to just put my head straight." And I'm giving my ex-wife, I'm giving her my food stamp card so that she can take care of my son. So I'm not coming with food stamps. I'm a smoker. So I mean, if I'm gonna do this, at least buy me a pouch of tobacco and some rolling papers so that I can clear my head, reboot myself, and get back up on my feet. And my old man's like, "Yeah, we'll help you, no problem, no problem." And then as soon as I get there, it's like, "Oh yeah, you need to go get food stamps." I'm like, "I can't. I already told you." "Oh yeah, you need to go find a job." I said, "Well, what about the 6 months?" "I don't care. You need to go get a job." And so this is an experience that not just from my old man doing something like that, but just other people have because I've throughout the years, I've had people try and offer me some sort of help. Okay. The people come in with ulterior motives. They will tell you what you want to hear, and then when you show up, you find out it's nothing what they said it was going to be. Okay, and so this person that reached out to me, and they've reached out to me a couple of times, and I've turned them down, and I said, "You know what? Let me entertain this, because I'm ready to move to that next stage." Okay, and this individual and we had a couple of long conversations, and quite frankly, just the way that we communicate, I think this individual will end up becoming one of my best friends. Just because he's a cool individual. He's very smart. I have a lot to learn from him. And that is really what attracted me to the whole thing. And then, we talked about the situation. What is expected of me? I'm not going to be a freeloader. So what do I do in exchange for what it is that you're doing for me? It's like, okay, what is it that you want from me? What are your concerns that you have about me? These are my concerns that I have about you. And we sat back and I think we talked over the last 24 hours. I think that we talked a total of maybe 7 hours, which that's a long conversation, especially for me to have. Unless you have a vagina, I don't talk that long. Okay, I don't. Okay. I know some of you probably laughing your ass off like I am, but I got to do that. So instead of going west like I was planning on doing, the plan is right now is that by June I will be in I will most likely be in Virginia. Excuse me, not Virginia, West Virginia, and and I'm going to be turning over a whole new leaf because now things I need a point where I can be static, where I can focus more on producing higher quality content so that I can grow the channel, so that I can reach a point in my life where I am so self-sustaining that I don't need the kindness of others to make sure that I survive. And now I can start giving back to those who are giving to me. Okay. And that is something that is I have been so excited all day. It has put a pep in my step, even though my stomach's all jacked up from all the chili. I am still in a positive, happy mood because I am moving in a direction that I never thought I would get to this point. I figured I would probably I would probably end up not surviving out here just because of the elements and certain immune health issues that I have, just because of the negative reactions that my body has had to certain medications that should have never been given to me, that were prescribed to me by doctors. And I've still got to pay. There's scars from that. I never really. I was hoping for it. That was the goal for it, but you never really expect it to come to fruition, if that makes any sense. Okay. And so, over the next couple of months, when Thursday comes, which is the day after tomorrow, which is why I'm asking if any of you guys could put like $10 or $15 in my tip jar, it would be so grateful. Because, it sucks being broke 2 days before payday, and I won't be able to do anything until Thursday, which is when I get paid. And But the thing is I'm buying a bus ticket to Cincinnati. I've got some people that I need to reconnect with, like my friend Gary. I know spots where I originally met him. I'm going to go hang out in those places and see if I can run across him. And I've got a couple other friends that I want to reconnect with and make sure that I still keep communication with these individuals, because they made a big impact in my life, and they were super helpful to me when I was in Cincinnati. So I want to reconnect with those people. And then I didn't realize it until the individual I was talking with was telling me, oh yeah, he's like, yeah, West Virginia, Ohio River Valley. I'm like, how is West Virginia next to Ohio? I actually had to look. Well, we're talking on the phone. I'm like zooming out of the map to see where West Virginia is. I'm like, oh wow. So what I will end up doing is it's like maybe 150, 200 miles of the Buckeye Trail that I'll be taking before I dip down into West Virginia, and then I will probably end up meeting up with this individual one way or another. Once I get to that point, because I know that I'm probably going to need a ride back to his place, because from what it sounds like, he's in a pretty remote area. Now, I mean, yeah, I could walk there, but if he's willing to give me a ride, I'm going to take the ride. And then, I'm going to start the next chapter. Now, there is something that he is doing that I find to be absolutely fantastic. Okay. And I think that those of you that follow this channel that are preppers, is that this is something that you might want to consider doing as well. If you've got a homestead where, it's just you, or you and maybe your spouse and maybe one other person or something like that, you with what's coming down the road, you're gonna need a community. You're gonna need help managing the land, because just like back in the day, not one person can go out and run a large farm by themselves. You need assistance. You need help. Plus, as you get older, your body starts to slow down and things like that. So being able to bring people around you to create your own survival community. I think that this is the time, if you were ever considering doing that, or if you haven't considered doing something like that, I think that is something that you as an individual should really be looking into as something to, sorry, I read a comment. That is something that you as an individual should definitely be looking into, because it is something that that will be beneficial to you in the long term. And plus, again, you can't do anything on your own. There's a reason why men and women get married and have children, because you can't have a child by yourself. A man can't get pregnant by himself, and a woman can't get pregnant without a man. Okay, so without having something without teamwork, you really can't accomplish anything, because you need that balance, you need that duality in life, and you also are going to need people around you to keep you sane. Because if it's just you on your homestead, or you and your wife on your homestead, and you have to isolate yourself from society, one of the things that I've talked about being a hiker is hiker madness. And hiker madness is when you get isolated for long periods of time. You get to a point where you just go mad. And I've met an individual when I was on the Pinhoti that was suffering from hiker madness. And even Prophet, he had the beginnings of hiker madness, but he was social enough to where he didn't put himself out there in complete isolation. You don't do the AT southbound while everybody else is doing northbound, because you're not going to run into anybody until you get close towards the end. And if you find people along the way, they're trying to, they're walking faster than you, they're moving. And so, from the story that the guy was telling me, like, he began tracking people just to be able to find somebody, be like, I found you. I just needed somebody to say hi and know that there are other humans in this world besides just me. Okay. And so isolation will make you go mad if you do not have other people around you. Okay. And so this might be something for you to consider. Okay. So I've done a nice 40-minute rant. I normally don't go this long, but this was something that I was really trying to really put forward to kind of help you guys that may be suffering from the effects of this global economic collapse and Bidenomics and the crap that's happening at the border and all that stuff. I think that this is something that I wanted to do to be able to give you hope, to let you know that you, just because you're in this situation doesn't change who you are. You are who you are, and you have the ability to turn over a new leaf and move forward. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to read some of these comments because it looks like you guys really blew up chat. Okay. Okay, I'm a lousy content creator, but I really don't care. No, actually, Joe, you're not. I think you're a damn good content creator. And you will have a following. I think you will be a lot like pinball preparedness or poplar preparedness, because people follow them because they're really good at sharing the stories and information, and I think that you're really good at what you do. You will be monetized. I'm sure of it. Okay, so Marco. Okay, Fox News tells you to just buy a home if you're homeless. Well, I've got a video coming out tomorrow, and it'll be out at 9 o'clock tomorrow. So if you're a member, you get early access to it on YouTube. So, but there's a video coming out tomorrow. It's talking about urban homelessness and the impact on society, and I kind of touch on what you're talking about here, Marco. All right, so there's Ironwood. Hey, Jays Morton. Okay, I'm reformed criminal. You want stories? I got stories. Yeah. I love your stories, man. You are a great narrator. So, I was pro skydiver for 20 years. If you want stories, bushcraft. But your niche is much different than what you were doing. So doing something like that, that would be something I would do a secondary channel on, because it will take away from your bushcraft stuff. Now, you can't, unless you want to take the survival stories that you have and kind of, give narratives of that. That would be how you do your long form content. I remember that move, Will Smith. Okay, yeah. Yeah, none of us can remember that. See, that's the problem with old age. You forget a lot more than you remember. So I got, if you watch the interview I did with White Mike, you want to talk about some gnarly stuff. You might like his stuff, Joe. I interviewed him when I was in Tallahassee. Hey, Chris, nice to see you. I'm glad you got off work. Kick up your feet, smoke a bowl, drink a beer. 90% of all YouTube channels will never reach 1,000 subscribers. That is correct. Most YouTube channels, at least. No, actually, the true stats is that only 10% of YouTube channels will actually make will make it to be monetized or are monetized. Okay, and like once you get over 10,000 subscribers, you're like in the top 3%. Okay, so hi Alina. Okay, uh, you know what, Joe? You will be there in enough time. Okay. So I'll tell you guys about my mom. My mom and I had an argument one day, as I was going to take over that first house, and I didn't hear from her for about a day, and I got concerned, and I had the key to her house. I went to the house. Well, because she flipped out, she OD'd on her pills and asphyxiated on her vomit, and I found the body. Okay. My mom, she went through all that crap, and she was very, she, she, she was in a lot of pain, not only mentally, but physically. And I'm one of those reincarnation, rebirth type people. So I don't think that she went to heaven. I think that she gets to come back, and hopefully her next lifetime will be a lot nicer to her than this lifetime was, because my mom had a brutal, brutal life. And I feel very, very sorry for her. Okay. But, at the same time, you should look at it as, when you reach a point of enough pain. I mean, a lot of like farmers and ranchers, they would put their cattle or their livestock out of their misery, instead of letting them, go through a long, horrible death. Okay. And you gotta look at it from that standpoint, is that when somebody passes on and it's their time, it is an ability to be able to, um, it's their way of moving on to the next step. Okay, whatever that may be, because none of us know whether or not reincarnation is true, whether or not there's heaven or hell. You don't know until you get there. You can say you know, but you don't know until you get there. You'll find out who was right, who was wrong, when you get there. Okay, but there's no point in hurrying it up. What you should really be doing is looking at the experiences in your life, looking at what those fulfilling, happy experiences were, and what life lessons you learned, and make sure that you pass it on to the next generation, because that is the biggest problem with the boomers, and that is my biggest problem in life. My parents didn't teach me crap. Nobody taught me crap. I had to teach myself pretty much everything that I know, which is really pathetic and sad. And my grandparents were the only ones that actually taught me anything, and it was more like life lessons, words of wisdom, instead of any skill set, because they expected my parents to teach me the skill sets that I never learned. Like my mom was a gardener but refused to allow me to garden. My mom used to do canning but never taught me to do canning, because that's women's work. And just the things that I need to know now, I was never taught, and even though I tried to learn, I never learned. So it's important that you pass your knowledge on to the next generation, because that next generation will build upon what it is that you have done and make the world a better place. But if you don't pass on that information, you get what we see in front of us now. So just joining, gonna go back, catch up. Okay, Jeremy. Okay. I have had 35 years of bad luck, and I'm gonna turn it around. Yes, you are, Joe. Joe, you are a good person. You quit dragging on yourself. You are a decent human being. You care, and that says something, because you know some people are sociopaths. They don't care about anything or anyone. In my early years, I didn't care about anyone. I had no compassion for my fellow human being. I looked at them as dirt on my shoe. Okay, it took Billy Meyer actually teaching me through his writings the value of a human being, that a human being is way more valuable than what it is. So a lot of Big Bud 747 out in Montana went to work in the rich fields of California. Many people do not know how much rice California produces. Yeah, well, California produces a lot. They have a lot of agriculture. So, okay. I've lost my marbles. What's your point? Well, you know what? People love you for it. Okay. I mean, you got Tomcat, and because of Tomcat, I was exposed to you, and because I'm exposed to you, now I'm exposing other people to you, and so the people that appreciate and value you will be the ones that are at your back in the same way that those of you that are here watching me, that are part of this live stream, that are part of everything that I do. You guys are the ones that that will. That are doing the same for me, that show me that I really that I am the value that I think I am. Okay, how much? Sorry. Okay. Does this? Oh, okay. Type 0. Okay. Um, okay. So does this guy live in a forest? No. Right now I'm in a forested area. Just I'm in a forested area in the city of Shreveport. I will be living in the forest here in a couple of months though. So no, currently a wooded area in the city. Perfect, Jeremy. Jeremy knows so. Jeremy, there, man. Jeremy knows so much about me. I much appreciate him. He's also the helped me out with Sam and stuff like that. A lot of you guys have been very helpful with me. I managed to rise a scratch. Okay, okay. Says you have 10 subscribers. No, I don't know who you're talking about. No, Joe actually has like almost 800 subscribers. Okay. Greetings. Hi. Yes. I see. Eat my shorts. Bart Simpson. That's a whole Bart Simpson movement. Okay. The Blue Baron. You started your channel March 10th. Oh, okay. Yeah. Did 2 years homeless. I'm facing it again. Yes, I know. And the health issues you have, man. Um, you tap into the local resources. Do it now before you get out there, because that way, if you have to go out there, you at least have a foundation so that you're not struggling and you don't end up like a lot of people in your situation. Yeah, learning your value is important. Okay, a lower tolerance for negativity, raise your standards for positive. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I will become a drug addict, but only if there are clean needles. Mm, okay, I'm gonna leave that one alone. Do you think this helped you become? Okay. Okay. We all need each other. Yes, Kimmy. They're so true. Humanity bands together. Yes. The thing is even in our politics, on the right side of the aisle, it's get a job bum, you're useless unless you make this amount of money. On the left side, it's unless you think this way, you're useless, and so therefore, it's just all we're doing is just dogging on each other, and it's not nice, it's not right. So okay, get rid of the squatters here. Why? Why are you worried about? Instead of worrying about the squatters, figure out what is going on, how you can help them move out of their situation. Okay. I had a guy today. I was going around because I'm trying to quit smoking in the best way that I can. I still, my after meal cigarette's probably the worst for me. No, I mean, I can quit. I did it on trail, but being in the city and having access to it, it makes it a little bit harder. So I was picking up some cigarette butts today, right? And so I walk by this business, and this business owner literally gets in front of me, tries to block me, does everything but push me. And I'm like, dude, why do you hate me? I mean, what did I do to you? He's like, well, you don't need to be here. I says, why is that? This is a public business. I can. There's nothing that says I can't come on this project. Well, I'm the owner here, and you're not one of my customers. I says, so why do you hate me, man? What did I ever do to you? And one day you will end up where I'm at if you keep going the way that you're going. And he kind of had that turn of consciousness, had set back, had to talk with me, and I told him, he asked me about Sam, and I explained to him how I found Sam, and then I also told him how I was a business owner, and I got caught up in the stupid stuff going on the border, and I think because you could watch his facial expressions, he went and oh, this guy wasn't kidding when he said I could end up just like him, because a business owner just kind of looks down on people because of just kind of where they're at. And just to watch the expression on his face of oh crap, you mean I could lose my business for no apparent reason? Yeah, that's kind of, I better rethink it. So at the end of it, he was polite to me, wished me luck, but he was a total dick to me at first. Okay, so okay, what's up, outdoors? Nice to see you. So you shouldn't hate the people that are squatters. You got to realize that your society, your community is only as strong as its weakest link, and if you're not trying to help the weakest link, and it doesn't mean that you throw them in jail or force them into rehab, or or force them to go get a job or whatever. You got to help them find a solution that works for them, because not because you live your life your way because that's the way you want to live, and you want them to be able to live life their way while still being productive, to be a contributing member of society. And that's really where you should be working to help the homeless and help those that you see in this situation. That's what's happening with me. That's why I'm going to West Virginia to begin with, is because this person is meeting me on my level, while still getting a use out of me, and and getting the things that they need. Okay, so okay, it's hard to stay human when a person solo out here. Okay, all right, let's see. I can't talk to women, that's why I'm divorced 4 times. Well, you know what? No, women are nuts nowadays. I stopped dating a long time ago. I'm not gonna ever date again. I'll have a fun friend, but that's about it. If in my travels, I run across a woman that's like, let's go have a good time, great. The second she wants a relationship, no. Because women mentally up here, they're too busy looking at you like a paycheck, and they have no respect for you. It's like, I don't need you, but open my car door. And it's like, no. When you get your shit together, then we'll talk. So I don't think it's always the men. I think that women play a bigger role in the destruction of relationships than we do. Yes, West Virginia, a real nice, affordable place to live. Yes, so like you have a plan, the way they say West Virginia is nice people but are a little poor. I don't care if people are poor, okay? It's about community. It's about being in a place where you're appreciated and you appreciate those, and you can pull your own weight and give somebody give somebody something in return for what it is that they're giving you. Not everything boils down to a dollar bill, and we're so fixated on a dollar bill because we don't know how to barter, how to trade, what value we bring. Your labor is value, your intelligence is value, your ability to offer your skill set is value, your ability to be there and to be a participating member of the community is value. And when the community values that, that's when you know that you've reached the right place. Okay, so the hills have eyes. Yeah. Hey, Rick, nice to see you. Okay. Okay. My kin in West Virginia are McCoys. Okay. The neighbor I want in a zombie apocalypse. Okay. South Carolina is nice. Okay. I'm kind of skipping through these. Yep. I was in 3 states at once. 1 foot in West Virginia, 1 foot Penn, 1 foot Massachusetts. Okay. Pinball is great. Yeah, but he's a little conceited. I got my homeless person I follow like it's a pet. I mean, one of the things that Billy Meyer really instilled in me and made a huge change as far as reading his material was the value of a human being, and the way that people talk and say things really tells you what's really going on, because somebody can say one thing, but if you're really listening to the tone and the way that they say it, it's really something else. Okay. So, all caught up. Remember, if you don't like the video, you're going to stub your little toe when you get up to piss tonight. I love that one, Jeremy. You're picking up huckleberries on the side of a mountain and fond memories for me. Okay. Remind Daniel Boone. Okay, I'm 60. It means I've lived 2 lifetimes. Yeah, well, I mean, some people do everything that they want in their life and have a fulfilling life because they want to go after what they want, and they say fuck society. Screw what society has to say. I'm going to follow my own trail as long as I'm doing my part to contribute and to be a contributing member of society in my own way. Well, then, that's all that really matters. Those are the people that have the fulfilling life. The people that are too busy doing what society says and worried about what society thinks and worried about living the way that society tells them to live, those are the people that hate their life and will never really get true joy and fulfillment in their life. And that's just my opinion. It doesn't mean I'm right. Okay. No, Orlando. Okay, yeah. Sounds fun. Going to put everything in storage and go. Okay. Wild edible hunting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to learning a lot of stuff. This individual knows a lot about nature and outdoors. I was floored in the amount of knowledge that this person has. I mean, that in itself is like, you would pay thousands of dollars to learn the knowledge that this person knows. And out of the kindness of his heart, he's willing to share it with me, and I will end up sharing it with you guys. Okay, so hey, what's up, Cherokee? Glad to see you. Okay, so then we have people that just lazy and don't support. Well, if you keep telling somebody they're worthless, eventually they're just going to say, screw it. Why do I want to do anything if I'm worthless? Okay. And then you want to sit there and say, well, you're lazy. Well, yeah, because you keep telling me how worthless I am. Well, so again, you have the ability to impact somebody's life. When I was in Portland, right before my mom passed, we had a fight. My mom and I fought like cats and dogs. Okay, so when her and I had a fight, I went to sleep in a doorway in the Pearl District, and I had this kid. He worked at a print shop, and every night or every few nights he would stop by and he would see me, and all he did was check in to see how I was doing. He wanted to make sure I was okay. He's like, you're intelligent, you're smart, you're this, you're that. Because I get that a lot in life. You seem like you got, you could go out and be a productive member of society. You're not like all these other people out here. You're not a lost cause. And he just got to know me. I just said, well, this is what's going on. This is where I'm going. This is what I'm planning on doing, but I'm doing it on my own terms. And he respected me for it. And, every once in a while he'd drop me a $20 bill and I'd be like, dude, you don't need to give me money. Your friendship means more to me than that $20 bill does. And it took him, I don't think he ever really learned the lesson, or he just did it because, he wanted to do something nice for me. But at the end of the day, when you see a homeless person, a random act of kindness, just being their friend. You don't have to give them money. You don't have to give them food. You don't have to give them resources. You don't have to do anything for them. Just a random act of kindness will make more of an impact on a homeless person's life than all of the money and all of the housing and all of the resources you could give them. Because when you're in this situation, you don't feel valued because society tells you you're not valuable because you're not paying rent, because you're not doing this, because the system cannot harvest you for the money that they think that they're entitled to from you. Okay, and that's really what it is that the society has convinced us to go into indentured servitude, but we do it on our own terms. If you ever listen to there's a video, it's got like 10-15 million views. It is called the Jones Plantation. You should definitely listen to it, okay? Because that is essentially what we're having done to us, even when it comes to go get a job, pay your taxes, do this, do that. But yet our founding fathers said, you have the ability to go and pave your own path, have your own experience, do what it is that you want to do. But then now we've gotten to a point where we want to tell everybody how to live their life, that when they don't live it the way that we expect them to live, and we can't even live the way that we expect to live, but yet we expect other people to do it. It's just it's asinine. It's I guess you would call it ironic or an oxymoron. I'm still confused on how to do it, or how to label it. But that's just again my point. Okay, so hey, what's up, Anarchy? Hey, I finally subscribed to you. I found your channel, and I like listening to it. So, dude, you have a beef. You are assuming the wrong of me when you are used and abused, and taking advantage of it is not okay. I never did anything but the kind and helpful above and beyond. Never said that was you. What I was doing was using some of the things that were being said as a way to be able to create an example so that you can understand, or that the group here as a collective could understand the nuances of what not only goes on out here, but what impact society could do on other people. And you want them to go get a job, and you want them to go do all this. I get it, but also on the other hand, what are you doing to help them? How are you making a positive impact on their life that will give them the motivation to get up there and go do it? Because when somebody is in a positive mood and when they are happy, they want to go out there and keep it going. Okay, and they may be just like a dog. Okay, if I tell Sam to sit and then I give her a treat, now every time I tell her to sit, she is looking forward to that treat. Okay, so it is what it is. I'm not trying to pick a fight with you, Kimmy, and that's not what I was trying to do. If it was taken that way, I do apologize. But I'm also trying to share with the group on how to be able to better impact homelessness altogether. Okay, because homelessness is a community problem. And because the community does not want to deal with the problem, because they are more, the easiest way to put it is society's stuck on stupid. We're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results and making it worse. Okay, and that's just the way it is. And we can agree and disagree on a lot of things. I mean, nobody's ever going to agree with you 100%. Nobody's going to ever see eye to eye with you 100%. But it's how you deal with the disagreements. Are you able to sit back and go, okay, there was no harm, nobody was meaning to mistreat you or to offend you or anything else like that. But at the other end, and if I was on the other end, I'd be asking myself, well, why am I getting offended by what is being said? Why am I taking it as a personal attack? Maybe I am personally attacking you, and then I need to know why I did it. Or two, maybe there is something else going on that allows you to that puts you in that situation to make you feel like you're being personally attacked. But there is no personal attack intended here. Okay, I'm trying to have a conversation with you guys to help you guys make the positive impact on homelessness. We can fix homelessness, but it starts at the community. It starts at the individual level. It starts by getting to know your local homeless person. It starts by developing a relationship, understanding their needs, and assisting them in reaching their goals. And it does not mean money. It does not mean anything. What it means is that you have enough compassion for your fellow man that you are willing to stand up there and be accountable by doing your part. Okay, I would urge everybody out here. Now, I may be your homeless guy that you guys get to know, but I urge you to get to know one more if that's the way you consider me. Okay, get to know one more homeless guy. Okay, or girl, however you want to do it. If you're a girl, you should talk to girls. If you're a guy, you should talk to guys. Okay, because it gets creepy the other way, and people start thinking you have ulterior motives. Okay, if a guy goes talks to a girl, she thinks he's trying to get her in bed, and most of the women out here, that's exactly what they think. Okay, so but the thing is, you should get to know your homeless person so that you can understand how to impact it. Because then when it comes time and these politicians say, we just need to throw more money, we just need to have more of this, you look at it and go, that's just dumb. No, that's not what we really need. What we need is the community to do its own outreach. We need to be able to give these guys an environment that will nurture them back to health, because they may be suffering from physical sickness, mental sickness, or just defeat. And regardless of what they're feeling, sometimes society has to be there to pick you up. Just like when you get sick, you go to the doctor. But the thing is people don't look at homelessness as being sick. They look at it as somebody being a lazy drug addict that is never going to do anything and is a drain on society. Well, that's not true. That we do not have the right care for the homeless in the same way that we don't have the right care for cancer. Okay, giving somebody mustard gas, I mean, how does that really help somebody? You're poisoning them. What it's what are the underlying symptoms? What is it that we're doing that is creating the cancer? Is it the way that we modify our foods? Is it the way the chemicals that we have in our water? Is it the contamination of our environment? What is it that's causing cancer? It's instead you have these corporations, these industrial complexes that want to make money off the problem instead of actually providing a solution. Well, if society really wants to fix it, society is going to find that is going to fix it on its own without the outside intervention, if that makes any sense. So let me read some of these. Okay, everybody in my family is jealous because I'm a gypsy. Been all over the U.S. Yeah, I'd be jealous too, man. I mean, you get to experience life while they sit there and we're too busy trying to live up to somebody else's standards. High five, Lon. Okay, society stuck on stupid. Good, good t-shirt. You know what? I might make a t-shirt like that, Chris. No, I do have t-shirts for sale. It's down in the shop. If you guys want to do something like that, I make like $5 each t-shirt. So, and yeah, that's all I get off of. But that's cool. I'm happy with it. I've helped so many of them. And my son here now with his girlfriend, she has abused me and allows it. It's bad. Well, then you got to set boundaries. Okay. If you think that you're being abused, well then, set your boundaries. Make sure that things like that don't happen. Even with the individual I'm looking at going to stay with in West Virginia, we are both setting our boundaries. He set his boundaries. I'm setting my boundaries, and I will. It is up to me. I need to, and it is paramount that we both respect each other's boundaries. And if we can't, then that's when the situation becomes toxic and you need to go your separate ways, and that's the way it is. Okay, Ricky, very admirable that you're living your life on your terms. Okay, they're all stuck in a house full of crap, slave to their stuff. Yeah, because we're dependent. We're dependent on conveniences. Okay, a few people have more money than half the population. And we got to ask ourselves why. And why do we condone it? And why do we accept it? And why do we aspire to be like them? Okay? Because we allow it to happen because we want to be like it. Because one day when we're in that position, we're going to do the same thing. So are these people truly bad, or is it just a reflection of who we wish we were? So, okay. Have you ever seen Alan? Oh, yes, I love Alan Watts. What is it? He does something like The Great Society and yeah, I've listened to him. Alan Watts is amazing. He was ahead of his time. To help pay with good intentions school. Yeah, truly helping people is work. You must take the time to know them. Yes, I love Alan Watts. So you can help them. That's what they need, homeless or not. Yes, that's why I need her to leave. She is a sociopath. They fight bad. I need to help too. I had when I had the second house, I had two tenants that that were fighting. It was a girl that I had that I was renting to, and her and her boyfriend would start fighting. And I told him, you can't fight in the house. And then they started fighting out on the street corner so that the whole neighborhood could hear it. And her dad was one of the premier realtors in the state of Oregon, and he also he had access to one of the best lawyers for renters' rights. He had him on retainer, and because of everything that was going on, and she ruined the carpet, the brand new carpet that I laid in her room. I ended up giving her an eviction, and he calls me up and he goes to chew me out and stuff like that, and I'm like, and I told him what was going on, and he's like, I'm so sorry, that is my stepdaughter, I did not know that, she gave me a completely different story, I will make sure she's out, you do not have a problem to worry about. Okay, so I will tell you from personal experience, when it gets toxic, you need to separate the situation, and you need to look at not only what they did but what you did, because it takes two to tango. It takes two people to have a baby. A woman cannot get pregnant on her own unless she goes and gets artificially inseminated by a doctor, but that is still unnatural. Okay, so it is what it is. Okay, it takes two people to tango. So it takes two people to tango. Hey, Ricky, you know what? You better get it done before the whole world goes up in flames, because there's a new article that came out. I can't remember by who, but they were talking about the potential targets. And there's the East Coast and the West Coast will be a little bit less hit, but it shows all like 50 potential targets of Russia if they decide to do what they do. Yes, do illegal eviction. Um, you know what? Then maybe you need to step up and do your son's dialysis. You got to take over. You want her gone. If it's that important to you, you will make it happen, and you will come in there and do what needs to be done. You can't sit there and say, okay, she's going to do all this, and then I want her gone. You can't have it both ways. It's an either or situation sometimes. Okay, so but for all of you guys that have showed up and been a part of this, I want to say thank you so much for showing up. Okay, so you guys know what's going on. I'm going to be hitting Cincinnati here in about the next week. As long as the bus ticket holds to about 110, I should be fine. But anyways, again, if you guys want to help the channel, become a subscriber. If you'd like to help me out till payday, I could really use $10 or $15 in my tip jar. Otherwise, come on over to Patreon. This Saturday, we're going to do a test run, a dry run. So keep an eye on the community tab if you're not a Patreon subscriber, whether it be free or paid, because the first few of them are just going to be, they're going to be free for everybody. I just kind of want to get people used to coming over to Patreon, and we're going to do it at the same time every Saturday so that I don't have to worry about anything like that. And we're going to do it like that moving forward. And so for those of you that want to participate over there on the Saturday live streams, keep an eye on the community tab. I will put it up a day in advance so that everybody has at least 24 hours to know what's going on, when it's going to happen, stuff like that. Because I like the fact that you guys are all over here. I love the interaction and all the chats and all that good stuff. But I'm starting to get dry mouth. My throat's starting to get hoarse because I've been talking for about almost an hour and a half now. And I'm really glad that you guys show up and that you guys are part of my success. Keep showing up. Keep watching my content. Don't forget to share my content. It's important that you share it because that helps me with the exposure, helps me gain the subscribers I need so that I can open up more doors, so that I can have my success. Again, my success is very dependent on you, my community. I cannot do it without you, and so I keep trying to bring content of value to you all. Again, don't forget to share. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the like button. Leave me a comment if you haven't already. And again, everything else is down in the description. And I will see you guys. Saturday in the live stream. I'm probably going to do it around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. If you guys have a better time, just leave it down in the comments of like what, because you guys are my regulars that show up. So what time works for you guys on Saturday? I'll find a happy medium that works for everybody. But thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. And I will see you in the next